Welcome.
Sorry. I love Deltarune, and besides Hollow Knight and Silksong, I'd very comfortably call it my favorite game. That being said, why am I gonna slander the great Tricky Tony by going behind his back, calling his designs trash, and just praying to be upgraded? Well, I'm not. I love these designs, and I don't think I could improve them in their current medium whatsoever. But I'm not in their current medium. So that's how I'll be tackling this. I'm going to take every major character and upscale them into my style. Okay, now when I say major character, I don't mean like C-Round and Clover. Sorry to Clover fans. They're just a little too far into obscurity, but we'll play it by ear. Starting with... It's Kris. We're starting with Kris. I don't know why you would think that we're not starting with Kris. So, Kris was honestly really simple, especially the light world design. Particularly, I searched around Pinterest for some accurate clothes references, because I don't really have sweaters or many of the things that I think Kris would wear laying around. The biggest thing was trying to work in a few more colors, because obviously Toby Fox has a much more limited palette than I do. And trying to adapt what those shapes would be in more interesting ways than just the first thing that come to mind. Like turning Kris's sweater into more of a V-neck with a bit of a pop collar. I know it's a popular interpretation, and I can't say I haven't seen it in other designs before. But I certainly fell in love with it, and I don't think I'd be able to draw them in my style without it. Now, while as simple as their light world design is, I think I got a lot more creative with the dark world design. I added like a nice bit pauldron, like where Kris's would be, that I think adds a lot of shaping, has a nice spike to it. I love the silhouette it gives. I know some people think that Kris's scarf is striped, almost like how Frisk's shirt was in Undertale. They have very similar colorings. But I really just couldn't find a way to make that look nice in this kind of non-pixelated space, so I just went with a bright magenta to match Susie's design. Speaking of matching Susie's design, you'll also see once we get to the coloring phase that I added a little harness with a heart on it, with the same color as what Ralsei's outfit is going to be. You'll see later that I also do the same for each of them. If they're missing a color from somebody else in the Fun Gang or the Delta Warriors, then I'll add it in myself. Along with the waistband, I also turned the knee pads into some upside-down hearts. But besides that, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I love that whether Kris likes it or not, they are just covered in hearts because they can't escape the player. I added a few extra details, like different perspective on their sword, what I think their shield should look like, their knife in the real world, a little birdcage for fun. And something that I think I'll try and do for all of them, maybe try and adapt to one of either their talking world sprites or just an iconic face sprite that they've had in the game. And for Kris, that means that I'm taking their evil, it was Kaard the whole time face. And yeah, it was honestly really fun shading the metal. It was very different to how I approached the fabric. I definitely tried to go for much bolder and brighter colors in the Dark World versus not quite dull and desaturated, but definitely in comparison to the Dark World. That way it just stands out and catches your eye that much more and feels almost abnormal compared to the Light World. But besides that, I think we are finished. I really liked working on this, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. Okay, I'm not dressing up as all of them, I just really like this hoodie, okay? Next up is my partner's personal favorite, Susie. I wrote her name quite crudely, like I feel like she would. She was scribbling on her own desk. But I had a lot of trouble with this one compared to Kris. Susie, she's a lot taller, she isn't even human in the slightest, she's kind of reptilian, dragon-ish, I guess. And her clothes are raggedy as hell. Not to mention the fact I just don't really draw feminine characters that much. Not that Susie is all that feminine, but either way, I really struggle with this one. This was honestly a great exercise for me. I think the hair was also, as you can see, I didn't know what to do with it, if I'm being perfectly honest. I tried to incorporate her eyes poking through the same way she does at the end of the chapter, but it really just didn't quite work for me. The only way I could see it happening is maybe doing the kind of anime style where you see the hair through the eyes and you really shouldn't be able to, but I feel like that would just irk at me way too much. So, compromise, maybe when we do chapter 2, I'll tackle this again, see if I can get the eyes to work in a way that I like. But back to her light world design, kind of very similar to Kris, just upped to a massive degree. Her clothes are completely torn apart. Her jeans are ripped up, torn. Her jacket is stained and tattered. I don't even think the zipper is still attached. It looks like she found him in the Lost and Found. Now, compare that to her Dark World design, and it is all of her fantasies come to life. She's like a biker or something, just something you would expect like an edgy teenage girl to dream of. She's got a giant war axe, which I added even more spikes to than the original had. Along with some jewelry I thought was pretty cool on Pinterest, like little belt chain. She has like one of those like jade rings, which I think is cool, and was an easy way to incorporate some of Ralsei's green into her design. As much as I do love this design, the time-lapse did unfortunately glitch in an annoying way, as you're probably seeing right now. For some reason, Susie's light world design is just like her line art is just shifted over from where it should be, but you will see that fixed in the final design. But other than that, I mean, rendering her was a breeze. The line art I still feel is a bit messier than I would have liked, which I could see becoming a pattern, because this is a lot of designs. I kind of get them out a little quick, but I am still very happy with this, and I think she is quite menacing. So let's throw in a little Shadow Kris for scale and call her done. I know I'm just repeating myself here, but somehow Ralsei was the hardest one for me. I was really, I finished up with Susie, and I was really hoping to just breeze through Ralsei, and he just gave me so many problems. Mainly, I think, because his Chapter 1 design, where he's under the hat, is honestly just entirely different anatomy than he has once he takes it off. I mean, like, his face moves differently, he's much more expressive. I honestly kind of just wish he kept it on at the end of the day. But that's, it's not my decision. That's the great Tricky Tony. So I had to work with what I had. So you will see in this time-lapse many, many, many revisions. But this is our first Darkener, so I'll talk about that. For almost all Darkeners, I really want to incorporate, like, pure black somewhere in the design. I guess in similar ways to how, in certain styles, they have, like, fully blacked out shadows. I want to do that in at least one place for almost every Darkener design. I don't know if I'll keep up with that, but yeah. So with Darkeners, there is no Light World variant, so I will try to at least include something else to draw with them to make it equivalent to the Lighteners. For Ralsei, it's doing his no hat form right now, even though I didn't do Susie's end of chapter form. I will get to it, I already talked about it. So, why was Ralsei so hard? First of all, I wanted to try and push up the goat a little bit. I tried giving him goat eyes, that just didn't work. I tried changing his glasses up for something unique. It just didn't look right and kind of cluttered up the eyes. I think the glasses kind of cluttered up the eyes in the end anyway. But I eventually got it to a point that I liked, sat down, stared at it, decided I hated it, and had to go back and make more revisions, which is what you're seeing now. I really tried to incorporate like a unique pattern into his long dress, make it more like almost religious feeling, because, you know, the prophecy is like the town's religion and he loves the prophecy. So I think he would have some sort of religious feeling clothing. You'll see right now I'm doing my best attempt at a background. Don't worry, it will not be in the final, so just ignore it while I talk. There's a big blue stripe for Ralsei's design, because I felt that was the best way to incorporate Kris's blue. He already has the, you know, big magenta scarf, very similar to Kris, honestly. So they each have Susie's colors, but not each other. But I finally just decided on a more cartoony, not quite goat, and just general monster design. I'm still not the happiest with it, but I think I have it to a point where I am content, even threw in a little tail, some inspiration, because I really threw in a little tail, and I found some designs that give him like a nice little tail. But I think that finishes up the design, and will be the last of the Fun Gang Delta Warrior Shit Squad. Yeah.
One pair of pants later.
Lancer! Everyone's favorite bouncy boy, and my personal favorite character, was the first hurdle of this video. He is incredibly simple, and rarely actually moves. While I may have not defined strict rules on what I can change about a character, I really don't want to lose anything from these characters. I am simply adding to them to push the designs further. But what do I do with this? I can't improve upon perfection. Look at him. The best I could do was turning his head shape into a hoodie, and doing my best not to think about Bald Lancer, along with a proper weapon, since it really felt like he was lacking one. Now he wields his mighty trowel from his hole digging, mixtape making, and finally adding some sloppy stitching all around his outfit, like a kid's makeshift costume that either Lancer himself or Rouxls were the ones to sew it together. And wow, we're done already. That was quick. I mean, well, he is smooth. The Duke of Puzzles. Duke. Likely the most humanoid design we're going to get to in this video. So, for his outfit, I look towards English royals and guards, as I interpret the lines on his chest to be the decorated chains and buttons of an English uniform. Also, just look at how he talks. He is British as hell. Solve my bloody puzzle and all that. So, I also took inspiration from the pirates of the time, as he seems quite fond of them in Chapter 2, even if it's just for a linguistics gag. Which is why I gave him his cutlass and Rouxls hat from Chapter 2, which at the time that I drew this, was the only headwear he had put on at the time, so I treated it as a bit more unique than it is now. But for his base design, there is nothing to distract from that award-winning smile. Which, like, why did they make him like this? I mean, is it like fleshy? Is it skin tag? I don't know, it just grosses me out. Oh, what's that? A random Home Depot box PNG that I'm turning into a box from his puzzles? You see, hey, look, he's blue now. Look how fucking blue he is. Seriously, why is he so blue? How do I render a fully blue man? Well, I adjusted the line art to pop from the dark blue, while adding splotches of magenta along the line of the shadows, which gives him a pearlescent look that I've grown quite fond of. Now let's stop talking about Rouxls' biggest booty and move on to the real big bad. the Kaard King, or no, the Spade King, or is it the Chaos King? Well, I took this confusing name and decided that he called himself the Spade King before speaking with Jevil and taking over Kaard Castle, after which he changes his name to the Chaos King, like his theme song. And I tried to portray that in the little title I put for each character. King is the first character where I really couldn't draw two variations due to his sheer size. I scale every character to Kris so that I can get accurate heights for all of them, which I'm sure I'll regret, because this chud barely fits on the screen! Sorry, despite all the shit talk, I do love King's design. Especially his expressions just look so good in game, even if his motives are admittedly two-dimensional. I think the face turned out well, as I was finally able to push some strong shapes into the design. I tried to include spades in places like his knee pads, where you can also see his gloves and boots are torn compared to his son's. I'm aware of the theory that the King's cape is the Shadow Mantle from Chapter 3, but since I don't really know how to feel about that theory, I'm not completely sold on it. I drew King's cape as just a regular cape. This is definitely my favorite drawing of the video. It almost makes me wish we got to see more of King as a villain, but since there's no more bosses to cover for this video, I guess this will be the last design. Yeah, come on, who am I fooling? It's Jevil. I can't do a Chapter 1 video without Jevil. But with a twist. Since Jevil doesn't have any other form or prop I could draw him with, I added his favorite historical roommate, Sean. Now, I really hit a wall with these two. I had all the right ideas in mind, but on the screen it just fell flat. Oh, it's 2D, isn't it? Shut up! It really didn't even look like them, so I took a few days to work on other projects and came back at a later time, which is a tip for other artists out there. Please don't forget to do this. Sometimes you can't succeed on the same day you failed, and that's okay. Throwing yourself at it and brute forcing your way to completion is a huge cause of burnout in my experience. Oh, right, I have to be funny. I looked at a lot of more high fantasy wizard outfits you'd sooner find in a Zelda game in comparison to the others of Kaard Kingdom, since they both give me the vibe of a more magical era of the Dark World. Some maybe one day the dragon shall return type shit. But coming to a close, we add yet another twink to the roster. Can Endies even be twins, or is that like its own thing? Are they too old to be a twin? Because they're an age limit on how... For real this time, that is it for Chapter 1. A honestly underrated chapter when put next to the newer ones. Regardless, if you have any ideas for characters, let me know in the comments. I'm a Rock-nmd-Paper, and thank you so much for watching.